I can't even imagine what it's like to have parents that actually care about you. I truly cannot even imagine. Let me tell you a story. When I was 5, going on 6, and my sister was 8, we were staying in our house by ourselves while our parents were out at work. My dad came home first, and me and my sister had stayed inside all day. And when he got home, we really wanted to go outside and play. So we said, please go outside and play with us. We want to go play. And my dad was like, too tired to go outside with us, so he was like, I'll stay inside and watch you from the window. So we go outside and we're playing, and like we're on like a main road of this like little town, and this guy comes up and he kidnaps us, me and my sister. The guy rapes my sister in front of me and orally assaults me. My sister and I walk a couple miles in the dark in the summer. A little red Geo Metro car pulls up with two 20-something-year-old guys. We get in the car, we go, we don't say anything, we go to a gas station, and we call our parents. Police meet us and take us to the police station where our parents meet us. From then onward, my sister and I made a series of sketches. We were going to the police station daily. Turns out they end up finding the guy, and he's like a serial predator. Like, I mean, raping 4-year-old girls and leaving them to bleed on the side of the road. Like, he was a horrible, beyond horrible person, and he goes to jail. All this time growing up, my sister and I never talked about what happened to us. We never had anyone to confide in. We didn't even talk to each other about it. My whole life, I grew up terrified of men. And I'm 33 now, and just 2 years ago when I was 31, I finally decided to pull the police records of what happened, because I couldn't understand why our parents never talked to us about it, and why the police, like, it just seems like nobody, like, it seemed like this thing happened to us and nobody acknowledged it. So I pulled the police records, and it turns out the police didn't do a thorough investigation. They just took him at his word. He said, oh yeah, I took him to this place, but I didn't do anything to them. And the police believed them, even though I think it was like our local FBI ended up taking our clothes. Like, they took my sister's outfit, they took my outfit. I remember they took my Mary Jane shoes that I was so excited to wear to school that next year and never got back. So like, they had the evidence, but they didn't do anything with it. Whatever. So I ended up finding out and calling my sister. And my sister was the one doing most of the talking with the police when we were younger, because I was so little. And I just, looking back, always thought like she was the one who was talking to the police and certainly told them what happened. Like, they took care of it. But I could still never reconcile why my parents didn't give a fuck about like they never talked to us about what happened. And like, we never got like any therapy or like, I don't know, it's just like, and I learned to like cope with it throughout all my like life, and I eventually got over it. I just couldn't get over the fact that like, why don't my parents care? You know, like, why did they care? Why didn't we get help? Like, what was going on? And you have to know that my dad is an alcoholic, or was an alcoholic at the time of me growing up, and constantly cheated on my mom. I mean, constantly. So anyways, I just could never reconcile why my parents didn't give a fuck. Like, I'd gotten over the sexual assault. And so I called my sister, and she's like, I never told the police, they never asked me. And when you're 5 going on 6 and then 8 years old, and nobody talked to you about, you know, like, nobody asks you like, hey, did you get touched inappropriately? Like, it's uncomfortable to say to an adult, because like, you don't even know what the fuck just happened. Like, you're an 8-year-old that just got raped. How are you supposed to communicate that to an adult? Because there's been people along the way that are like, why didn't you guys tell? It's your fault. It wasn't our job to keep us safe. That was our parents and the authorities' job. Early 2024, I get a call from one of my family members saying my dad's in jail. You know, he has a history of abuse, domestic abuse, and alcoholism, and he got into a fight with one of my brothers or something like that, and went to jail. And I have a soft spot for my dad. Growing up, I was a daddy's girl. I immediately like wanted to put money on his books, because like, even if you were in the wrong, you know, like, I care about you. So my dad ends up getting out of jail, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna turn my life around, you know, like, so humble. And like, it's hard because like, with somebody like this, I don't know if he's a narcissist or whatever, but my dad has bipolar disorder. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. And so the mood swings are so severe. It's like 1 minute he's like raging, and then the next minute he's like so happy and upbeat. Like, and when he's happy and upbeat and like, you know, being the person that he should be, you really just, he's so charismatic, you want to believe that that's like who he is. And so he told me that he was going to get better and he was going to stop drinking and like whatever, and like wanted to have a relationship with me. So like, you know, we're having conversations like over the course of a couple months, and it gets to a point where it's like too much for me. And this is at the same time that I'm uncovering what happened to me, you know, in my childhood, and that my parents just never cared to ask, you know, like, are you guys okay? Like, did this man touch you? Like, what? Think logically about it. Why would a man want to kidnap 2 little girls and do nothing to them? Took us all the way out into the middle of nowhere, into a construction zone where there's nobody nearby for miles, and just leave us there. And you think he didn't do anything? That he just like left us there? Like, he had us for a few hours. You just think that like he didn't do anything? What is going on in your mind for you to not think like, yeah, like I got my girls back, but like, are they okay? Like, why are you going to believe this perpetrator, this predator, that he didn't do anything, but you're not going to question your daughters or make a safe space for them to like come to you and talk to you? What the fuck is wrong with you? So over the course of the couple months that me and my dad are talking again, because we haven't spoken in quite some time, right? Like, I grew up, went to college, failed, went to California, moved to Texas, started a whole new life, you know, like, haven't really talked to my parents because like there's no relationship there. I just could never reconcile why they didn't give a fuck about me. So there's like no hard there's really never been any hard feelings, just confusion on my part. So my dad and I are like, you know, like building our relationship back, and I'm like, okay, cool, like he's humble, he's like, he's a good person, but it's not reality. It's not true. It's just an act. It's just temporary. Because then I tell him about the kidnapping and like what actually happened. He's like, oh, I had no idea. He said, yeah, because you were selfish. You and mom were selfish when we were younger, and you still are. You have so much going on in your own lives. It's made it difficult to tend to your children. You should have never had kids. And so anyway, whatever. So my dad keeps trying to like make this relationship with me, but like it's difficult to repair and mend a relationship when so much has happened. And so my dad was frustrated by that because it was too much work for him to have to rebuild the relationship with me. And so we just kind of fell off the last couple, you know, like ever since then, we just fell off. We haven't really been talking much, and I live a good life. I do. I find fulfillment in things that make me happy. I've realized that I don't need anyone else to choose me. I've chosen me. And so anyway, I got a kitten a month ago, and I was posting about her on my Instagram story, and somebody that knows my family well reached out to me and like told me that the cat that I used to have in college and that I gave to my parents when I moved to California, because I couldn't take him with me, passed away. And they told me why. They said that he had fleas and small kidneys and needed a blood transfusion, and my parents couldn't afford treatment and decided to put him down, and then left his body at the vet without giving him a proper burial. And that pissed me off, because you couldn't take care of your kids, and then you grow up and you know, like have a different perspective in life, and you get animals and you still can't take care of them. What are you doing? I was mad, and I sent my dad a text. And they have other pets in the house too, and I said, I don't ever want to hear about you guys ever getting another cat, another dog, ever in your life. You do not take care of them. You barely took care of us kids. I don't ever want to hear about it ever again. You don't know how to take care of others. You can't even take care of yourselves. And then that set off like a slew of texts with my dad. And then I was, you know, made aware that on Father's Day, he was saying to all of the family that I was a victim, and that I can't be a victim my whole life, and that I should just get over what happened to me and how they treated me as a kid and how they didn't give a fuck and how we didn't have any support, that I should just get over it and have a relationship with him. And that'd be fine. I could do that if there was accountability and acknowledgement and self-awareness, but there's not. And I want nothing to do with that man. And he can take no credit for who I am and where I got to be in life. And I can't. It just is crazy to me, the entitlement. Like, just because you are the person that contributed to me being on this planet, you feel entitled to having a relationship with me without taking any accountability, without acknowledging anything, without actually putting in the effort. You're crazy. And so I said that to him in the text message. I said, I want you to keep my name out of your mouth. Nothing you've ever done has made me who I am today. I am who I am in spite of you, not because you contributed well to my well-being. You never have. And I said, I can't fathom being a father and being this much of a failure. And he said, well, my life was horrible too. I had a horrible fucking life. Where are my reparations? And then basically told me that, like, I think that I'm perfect and I've never done anything wrong, but like I've done plenty wrong, whatever the fuck he said. And it's crazy to me because like I didn't do anything wrong. You brought me into this world and treated me like shit. And so the natural consequence of that is me removing myself from you. And that's a problem for you. And that's not any of my business. That's up to you to figure out. But I cannot fathom having any living being in my care, plant, animal, children. Like, I can't fathom having a living being in my care and not caring for them. because I've got my own things going on. It's not an excuse. I don't care how hard your life was. It is not an excuse to hurt other people along your way in trying to figure out who you are, what your purpose is, and how to exist in this life. If you have somebody in your care that you are responsible for, I just encourage you to be present with that person and to put them first. No matter what it is you're going through, just do your best to put that person first, because you're going to regret it years later if you don't. You'll be a 59-year-old man entitled to a relationship you never worked for, never earned, and never deserved.